This is Quick Flicks. Today I am going to explain episode 1 of the TV psychological thriller, Dexter. Spoilers ahead. It's nighttime in Miami, Florida, and the streets are busy. People are out having fun, but so is Dexter Morgan. As he drives, he observes the people in the area, and reminisces on how he enjoys a variety of cultures and food. However, tonight he's after something different. He's hungry, but not for food. He needs to feed his urge to kill. Dexter's target is a pedophile and child killer named Mike Donovan, whom he tracks to a choir event and hides in the backseat of his car, awaiting his prey. When Donovan enters, Dexter quickly slips a wire around Donovan's neck and orders him to drive. They end up in a wooded area near 3 open graves that Dexter recently dug up. Dexter forces Donovan inside a nearby building and confronts him about his crimes. He forces Donovan to look at the decaying bodies of his young victims, Corey Belandi, Tyler Cale, and Joe Bigelow. Donovan begins to pray, only to be smacked across his face. Dexter tells him that praying never helped anybody, referencing victims who prayed for their lives. Donovan begins to beg, and Dexter asks if those little boys had begged. Donovan then admits his guilt, insisting that he couldn't help himself and Dexter has to understand. Dexter smiles, remarking that he definitely understands, but that he could never, ever hurt kids. When Donovan asks him why, Dexter moves forward, injects him with M99, and replies, "I have standards." As Donovan falls to the floor, unconscious, Dexter puts away the needle and removes his gloves. Dexter is next seen wearing his kill attire as he stands above Donovan, who is lying wrapped in plastic on a table. Using a scalpel, Dexter slices Donovan's right cheek and collects a drop of blood. He releases it onto a blood slide and places a second slide on top of it. A circle of blood appears and Dexter gazes at it for a moment. He tells a terrified Donovan, "Soon you'll be packed into a few neatly wrapped hefties in my own small corner of the world." During the night, Dexter uses his boat, Slice of Life, to dump Donovan's remains into the ocean near Bay Harbor. In the morning, he encounters a passing boat and he cheerily greets the captain as part of his blending in with the world. Dexter's thoughts are revealed. "My name is Dexter. Dexter Morgan. I don't know what made me the way I am, but whatever it was left a hollow place inside. People fake a lot of human interactions, but I feel like I've faked them all, and I fake them very well. And that's my burden, I guess. But I don't blame my foster parents for that. Harry and Doris Morgan did a wonderful job raising me, but they're both dead now. I didn't kill them, honest." Dexter then flashes back to his childhood. His adoptive father, Harry, brings up a dog named Buddy, who went missing. Harry tells Dexter that he found the grave, and Dexter defends himself, saying that he did it because the barking kept his sick mother awake. Harry then says that more than just Buddy's bones were in the grave. The flashback ends and Dexter takes his boat to his marina, returning to his apartment shortly thereafter. Dexter lives on the top floor of a 2-story apartment complex with a swimming pool. When he enters his apartment, its neat order is revealed. Dexter immediately heads to the air conditioning unit, removes the casing, reaches inside, and pulls out a blood slide box. Setting the box down, Dexter reminisces about the kill while he looks at the blood drop on Donovan's slide. He then places it next to a group of other slides inside the box. After he returns his trophy box to the AC unit, Dexter sits at his desk, pleased that he had honored the code of Harry in this kill. The code is a set of rules taught to him by Harry that allows Dexter to kill without being caught. Dexter notices a phone message from his adoptive sister, Deborah Morgan, who is a vice officer. Grinning, he listens to her foul-mouthed request for him to join her at a crime scene at the Seven Seas Motel. He has thoughts that if there's anyone he could have feelings for, it would be her, like a brother would. Dexter obligingly heads out to meet her at the crime scene. As he walks toward the crime scene, Dexter has the thought, there's something strange and disarming about looking at a homicide scene in the daylight of Miami. It makes the most grotesque killings look staged, like you're in a new and daring section of Disney World, Dahmerland. As Dexter crosses under the yellow police tape, Officer Oliver steps in his way and asks if he's a cop, to which Dexter replies by flashing his forensics laminate badge and saying, "No. Forensics." He looks around the location until he sees his sister, undercover as a prostitute, calling him over to meet in a motel room. Upon entering the room, Dexter jokingly comments on the sex suit that Deb is wearing and asks where she keeps her gun. She excitedly tells Dexter that a dead hooker was found chopped up in bits and pieces, and it's the third one in 5 months. They agree that a serial killer is at work. Deborah doesn't know if there are suspects because Lieutenant Maria LaGuardia is keeping her in the room since she's working vice and not a member of the homicide division. Dexter suggests that she take a lesson from LaGuardia in politics. Deb responds that she only wants to catch this guy before he kills another girl. She begs Dexter to look at the scene because he always gets hunches, and he finally agrees to do so. Knowing that Dexter will help her with the case, Deborah smiles at a possible chance to be assigned to homicide. Dexter walks over into the pool area and slips on his latex gloves as Vince Masuka runs up to greet him. Dexter comments on his haircut and Masuka quips about Deborah looking hot in her outfit. Masuka then asks why he's at the crime scene since there's no blood. When Dexter expresses disbelief, Masuka asks Detective Angel Batista to lift the sheet and show Dexter the body. The strange aspect to this crime scene, no blood on, in, or outside of the body, sparks Dexter's curiosity and admiration. Batista notes an oddity in how the victim was dismembered. While the right leg is separated into 4 sections, the left leg is only separated into 3 with a final cut, apparently interrupted. Dexter, still fascinated with the killer's bloodless technique, departs the scene after he tells Batista that, since there's no blood, he isn't needed there. Dexter wonders if this killer has exceeded his own abilities. On his return from the Seven Seas Motel, Dexter stops by Sadie's Donuts for his usual donut run. On most workdays, in order to appear as a nice, normal guy, he offers a large box of donuts to his coworkers. At the station, an officer at the desk takes a donut followed by Detective Dan and Detective Sue, who joke about the next bloodbath, since Dexter is a blood spatter analyst. After they walk away, Officer Deborah Morgan shows up wearing her police uniform. She also chooses a donut and tells Dexter that Captain Thomas Matthews put her on the case, despite Lieutenant Maria LaGuardia's objections. Dexter then takes the donuts to Camilla Fig, the records supervisor. After she picks a donut, Dexter asks her if she has anything new. She smiles and rolls her chair back to pick out a case file. Before she gives it to him, she states, "One of these days, you're going to tell me." Dexter responds with, "I already told you. Blood spatter doesn't take up all my time. I like doing it. Maybe I can help out. It fills my nights." She says that he has a morbid sense of fun, and he agrees. In reality, Camilla is one of Dexter's unwitting sources for victims. He asks for case files on someone particularly heinous, in order to get information for a kill. Next, Dexter greets Angel Batista in basic Spanish and he takes the last donut. Walking away, Dexter looks into the box and thinks, just like me. Empty inside. In front of a wall hung with blood spatter patterns, Dexter sits spinning around in his chair. Sergeant James Dokes, looking rather angry, walks up to Dexter's desk and asks where the hell he's been. Within Miami Metro Homicide, Dokes, who deeply dislikes Dexter, is the immediate supervisor of the department and works under Lieutenant Maria LaGuardia. Dokes orders Dexter to write a blood report about another murder case. Dokes insists that 2 people died in a drug deal, but Dexter has his doubts. As Dokes walks away, he looks back at Dexter with suspicion. Dexter thinks to himself, the only real question I have is, why in a building full of cops, all supposedly with a keen insight into the human soul, is Dokes the only one who gets the creeps from me? Before Dexter writes the report for Dokes, he goes to check out the Hotel Cokehead murders crime scene where Officer Simon is assigned. Dexter states that the blood tells a story and shows off his unique knowledge of blood. He acts out how the male victim was quickly stabbed in the carotid artery, based on the blood's pattern on a white wall. Dexter then walks over to where the female victim was killed. There the wall has thinner streaks of blood causing by slashing. Dexter says the killer knows how to use a blade, and then leaves to take a lunch break. During his break, Dexter stalks his next target, Jamie Jaworski, a valet with a secret hobby of being a rapist. When Jaworski murdered a woman named Jane Saunders in a snuff film, he escaped justice due to a faulty warrant. Dexter breaks into Jaworski's house to snoop around and is almost attacked by his dog. Dexter finds the definitive proof that Jaworski is guilty and Jaworski's fate is sealed. However, Dexter feels that he must wait until the time is right to place him on his table. Dexter goes on a date with his girlfriend, Rita Bennett, a domestic violence victim. As a result of her violent past with her husband, Rita has no interest in sex. Since Dexter secretly feels comfortable with the lack of intimacy, he thinks she is an ideal girlfriend for him. Rita also has 2 young children, with whom Dexter gets along well. While on their date at the Crab Festival, Dexter notices a crime scene in which another victim has been cut into pieces with no traces of blood, however, this time the head is missing. When Dexter brings Rita home, he is still thinking about the dismembered body. In trying to describe the killer's technique, he makes cutting motions across Rita's thigh. She thinks he wants to have sex and hurriedly gets out of the car, leaving Dexter to wonder why he did that to her. While at lunch, Dexter and Deborah discuss the dismembered bodies, and Deb says that one of them felt ice cold. When she mentions the term cell crystallization, Dexter speculates that the killer is using a refrigerated truck to transport the body parts. While Dexter waits to attend a briefing about the bloodless victims, he notices Mrs. Donovan inquiring about her missing husband. While reassures himself that he covered his tracks, Sergeant James Dokes appears and asks Dexter if he has a thing for grieving widows, and calls him a psycho. Dexter says he is there for the briefing. Dokes tells Lieutenant Maria LaGuerta that Dexter doesn't belong in the briefing and that he's still waiting on Dexter's spatter report on the Hotel Cokehead murders case. However, LaGuerta lets Dexter sit in at the briefing, which irritates Dokes. During the meeting, Deborah brings up the idea of a refrigerated truck, but she is shot down by LaGuerta. Following the briefing, Dexter and Dokes meet with LaGuerta in her office to go over the Cokehead murders case. Dexter insists that the murders had nothing to do with cocaine. He says that the man was quickly dispatched, while the woman was an emotional kill. He suggests an old boyfriend, but Dokes plays off Dexter's hunch as a waste of time. As Dexter is checking his spatter pattern, Dokes warns him, "I'm watching you, motherfucker." LaGuerta simply sits at her desk and smiles at Dexter. The time is right for Dexter to kill Jaworski, and he captures him at a construction site. Jaworski is wrapped in plastic and secured to a table, after which Dexter collects a blood slide. When Jaworski admits his guilt and says he is not sorry, Dexter kills him with a cleaver. While he is dismembering the body, Rita calls Dexter and asks to see him. He says that he is finishing a task and will stop by later. As Dexter drives to see Rita, he is sidetracked when he notices a refrigerated truck. He follows it, only to have the head of the last victim tossed at his car by the driver. Police arrive on the scene and he is questioned by LaGuerta, while Dokes stands glaring at Dexter from afar. LaGuerta tells Dexter that he was right about the Cokehead murders, and Dokes arrested the boyfriend, but he still hates Dexter. When LaGuerta begins to flirt with Dexter, he says that he is tired and pretends to go home. Instead, he heads to Rita's house. It's early morning when Dexter arrives at Rita's house. She is hurt that he didn't come over the night before, but he explains about the head and she understands. Then he finds out why Rita wanted to see him. She awkwardly expresses her interest in taking their relationship to a more intimate level. Dexter is taken off guard and doesn't quite know how to respond. They move to the couch, but Dexter is saved from following through when Rita's son, Cody, calls from the neighbor's house. He is sick and needs to be picked up. When Dexter enters his apartment, he notices a small doll's head fastened to his refrigerator door. Inside, he finds the other parts of the doll, severed just like the bloodless bodies. Dexter is intrigued and his thought is, I suppose I should be upset, even feel violated, but I'm not. No. In fact, I think this is a friendly message, kind of like, hey, wanna play? And, yes, I wanna play. I really, really do. Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like and comment. It really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.